at OSU, we kind of get trapped in our little university bubble, kind of focused on studies, focused on our careers, which is great, but sometimes we forget that there's other things going on in the world. There's tragedies going on in the Middle East, there's tragedies in Europe, there's tragedies even in other states and other cities that are close by. Sometimes we forget about that. So I think it's important to take a step back and kind of realize we have a duty to our community, to our society, to focus on these injustices and to correct this.
I think that one of the most prominent things is just recognizing that we are a melting pot of culture in this country. When something affects one group, it's always going to affect another group because what 2012 majority of the babies being born were not white. They were multiracial, they were coming from different backgrounds. It's safe to say that everyone's going to be affected by it. There's a responsibility in recognizing that there are things that must be done. And there are things that should be respected and stereotypes that should be avoided.
Well, I mean, today I don't feel like I can be comfortable living in this world until injustice doesn't plague every single person in the United States. Again and again and again, we see people being discriminated against, shot, killed, injured, just because of the color of their skin, just because their sexual orientation, just because they're different than what our society deems to be the norm. And that, to me, even as a white person, even as a privileged person, does not make me feel comfortable because I know that my friend won't be safe in this world, even if I am.
There's definitely a lot of injustice and a lot of problems going around in the Middle East right now, and not only in the Middle East, but it's kind of like spreading to different parts of the world. And just the fact that one thing that started in one area is kind of like spreading everywhere. It just kind of shows that like the one thing that's injustice in one part of the world doesn't mean that anyone else is safe to spread.
When I think about where we're making progress or where we're doing work, I think we feel really great about it, that remembering that injustice does exist in other places as well is a good reminder to stay vigilant and to not be complacent with where we are in our world, where we are on our campus. I especially think about this with my identities where I have a whole lot of privilege, and using this as a reminder to myself that the work's never done, my learning is never done, and to keep myself vigilant and a constant learner.
Regards to if we don't have justice for everyone, how can there be any kind of solution to any of the conflicts that may arise? That includes poverty, it includes lack of opportunity, it includes exclusion.
It's a good wake-up call for me as well to recognize that what I might be doing in Corvallis or at OSU might have a ripple effect in Oregon, it might have a ripple effect in the US, across the world as well.
Dr. King's quote really emphasizes how any kind of injustice is wrong and that it spreads. It's very systematic and it has broad implications for all of us. All of us, I think, have a responsibility to make sure that equality and equity are kept at the upfront of people's minds as they're making decisions, as they're going through their day, and really take concrete actions to address them.
As we become a more globalized society, a threat to justice just doesn't affect your community or your state or even your country, but it seems to be an epidemic. So if we choose to stand on the right side of justice in our own community, then in effect we can have an influence anywhere in the world.
We're all connected. Affects one person. It's a really small world. There's a lot of things that are happening out there that sometimes we don't consider or think about. We all play a role in making this change to improve all individuals.
We are all in this together. We're not alone, and it's all hard, but we have to figure out a way. This takes our lives are at stake.
I think in terms of us that have a lot more opportunities and what we can do in our lives, I think we need to help those in need.
Especially with Black Lives Matter being a very important topic right now, really we should be looking at how Black people are being treated by our law enforcement, who are supposed to be upholding justice, and they're not for a certain group of people.
this quote really just emphasizes the message that everyone should be equal.
Everybody should be treated the same, no matter where they're from, what background they come
And a
from,
warm-up, right?
their skin, their gender preference. Everybody's the same, and that's big. Oppression is something that will continue unless we make a difference, unless we change something today, and that starts with injustice anywhere.